in the morning. Thought I'd come and check on Mason's Brine Shrimp hatchery. Bit of a disaster. A couple of times I pushed the eggs back in the water. Maybe the air stand was too fierce, but the videos I've watched, that's how there was. As you can see, all the eggs just look like some did hatch. It's supposed to go an orangey colour, but don't know if that's right or not. Definitely nothing swimming about. So the first trial is a fail, but we'll try again. When we did that, we'd put 2 litres of water. The jug was 1.5 litres, so we had another level teaspoon of salt in it, off camera. So the salt level should be right. It has been left outside here. It should make no difference really. If anything, might take a little bit longer to develop. But, I don't know what's going on with that one. I'm just thinking that the air stand was way too fierce, and it was frothing up when we come round yesterday, and I pushed all the eggs back in the water and I took the lid off, tried it without the lid on, and obviously it made no difference, so we'll try it again later. I washed it out, I've redone it, and straight away you can actually see the eggs sticking to the side of the container. Now I don't know whether that's because of the material the container's made out of, but that ain't never going to work like that. You can actually see they've splashed all at the top here. So maybe it's this container that's no good, but I'm going to leave that running anyway and see what happens. This is Mason's second attempt with the brine shrimp. I've got in my hand here, you can see the reflection off the light, so I'm not going to put it on. Slight chance that there is some in the bottom of that there. The reason for this brine shrimp was the Daphnia we don't think was producing enough to feed the fry, so I was going to feed these, give the Daphnia a rest. However, obviously this is failed. I've bought him a proper brine shrimp hatchery now, but we don't think we're going to bother with that now. We left the Daphnia for a while, so I checked yesterday, there's quite a few Daphnia in there, and I have started dry food now, so hopefully them on the up. Having a bit of a ball like. Me and Mason have had 2 attempts of the brine shrimp. The brine shrimp, the whole purpose of that for us was to give the Daphnia a break in their tank so they could spread, breed, whatever, because the Daphnia can't keep up with the amount of food I'm putting in the tank. I did order 6 bags off a company, still I turned up at all. What an absolute pain to try and find out who it is, what it was. I'm going to find the name of the shop and I'm going to stick it on here and name and shout. It's advertised all over YouTube, and the service is rubbish. Anyway, them Daphnia day come. Dave's got some. Dave's had his own problems, so Mason's off school for a week, so I ain't got time to drive around and stuff like that. And like Dave's at work, and his missus is bad and he's been bad and one thing or another, so the feeder I put on, I've been trying to get it to feed through the night, so I know them getting the feed. That's the feeder I've got. Now, I ain't the best at working it out, and I thought I'd worked it out right. It's got intervals between feeds, which that was just on number 5 anyway, so I left it on there, not realising what it meant. It means intervals between days, so I'm assuming it's feed on Monday, wait 5 days, then feed again, which is what a day want. I wanted to feed through the night, obviously every night 7 feeds, but it's only a very small feed, very small. But I don't think it's working, because I keep looking at this. Even though it's feeding a lot, that should have moved really. I think we're coming up to the 2nd week, I think now. So that's burning me head out. I've just messaged Dave and Pete to see if they can work it out, and I've took a photo of the, what am I showing you that for? I've sent some instructions to Pete and Dave, see if they can work it out. It's just doing me nothing, and when you press the buttons on it, the screen, the digits on the screen seem to like sort of fade away, sort of. I don't think I've ever had that before on them, because them plastic touchscreen, well, you are supposed to touch them like, but very, very soft screens. So that's all going line or blare, that is. But that's what I'm up to at the moment. Trying to sort this feeder out for these little munchkins. Things are working out again. Fish are jumping like nobody's business. Having results from the hospital. I've damaged 3 discs and I've got a fractured lumbar spine, so I'm allowed to lift nothing, which is making things even more awkward for me. I stay to the water. Just put something in to try and sort that out. Ordered a UV, an amalgam light, just a cheap Japanese one, not realising it's coming from bleeding China. I've been waiting 3 weeks for it, I think. This feeder I put on Mason's fry tank while working. There's a digit on there I've put on 0. It was asking how many days in between feeds. I never realised, and it was set on 5, so it was feeding 1 day and not feeding for 5 days. As you know, I am good at reading, writing and spelling, so I don't understand the instructions properly. So I've left that on overnight in here to see what it's feeding, and that's what it's fed. And the other feeder that I bought for his tank, I set that up to feed during the day yesterday. That's now in my lean-to. Took Mason over the field yesterday, play football, come back, check the tank, and it had emptied off the hopper. Oops, sorry about the camera work, copyright with music. So I set this one up, it's only 4 feeds. I left that on last night to see what it would drop. Obviously it had dropped because it's 4 feeds during the day. But I took it off last night. You can see there, look, it had emptied off the hopper in the tank. The fish was loving it, they was on the bottom eating it all. I was expecting to wake up this morning and find them all brown bread, but they ate them okay. As you know, we had 2 attempts at the brine shrimp. Neither one worked. I ordered them a proper brine shrimp actually container with the salt. We've used the salt that we use for the pond. Maybe that was the problem. At first we thought it was the bubbles that was too high, because all the eggs were stuck to the tank. So we turned them down, reset it, done the same again. I think there was shrimp in there, but I just washed it all out and get it neck. And I've got them on dry food anyway. So unfortunately at the moment I'm having to feed them by hand, which ain't too much of a problem now. Mason's back at school. So I'm waiting for this UV to come for the main pond. I'm waiting for treatment to come for the main pond. And I'm waiting to find out what the results are for these 2 feeders, so I can get either one or both running. So things are going to plan at the moment. Looking at Vince's video, looking at the size of his fish. Mine ain't moved at all. Obviously because the feeder ain't been going off like I thought it was, which is really disappointing. The brine shrimp day work. The Daphne couldn't keep up with the demand, so I was having to leave that. Well, I left that for 4 days. They've regrouped or spread bread, whatever they are. So I've given them a good feed of that a couple of days ago. Again, it won't keep up with the demand of the fish, so I've had to leave them again now to then recycle. So I'm stuck with dry food at the moment, fed by hand, by moi. Here we go. A little giveaway competition. Just a quick update on that plant. See if anybody knows without googling it. I don't think you'll know until it flowers. Oh, you better believe it. I'd like to give my friend Rich from Shrewsbury Coy a massive shout out. Sent him a message. I heard he was selling a 1 kilowatt heater and I asked if he could post it. No problem at all. Obviously for on Mason's tank, and he's even given me a free plug. Bless him. So hopefully I'll get that all set up. What I want to try and do now, the missus has bought me a net, so I can gather all Mason's fry together, keep them in that net. Should have done it to start with. What started off as a cheap tank is ending up being more and more expensive. Just little bits that you add on. Richie's let me have the heater mega cheap and posted it for me, bless him. Other things like the brine shrimp and that day work, that's more money, but that was money wasted. Diaphragms for the air pump, things that you don't expect. Even the dechlorinates for Mason, it's more expense on it, but these are what you have to do to try and grow your fryer. Again, Richie, known as the Earl of Shrewsbury, cheese mucker. I know this video you think's late, that's because my videos are so far behind because of all the videos mixing up. So you'll probably get this one January 2026. Mate, really appreciate it. I'm going to try and get this heater set up, not to run now because I've got a heater already in it. I need to get my filter set up, and I've got a UV. Then I want to get that set up, so I want to get all that plumbed in. I'm not going to run the heater now. I'm going to run the filter. As soon as I get it all the filter and everything all plumbed in, I'm then going to net all the fish and then put the fish in the floating net, so I can get my filter system working. I did do it originally because of it sucking the fry down through the plug hole, or the bottom sump I should say. So I thought I'd leave it. I've run these filters that I've got in now out of a fish tank, which I'm working lovely jubbly at the moment. I'm due for a clean, so I'm going to set the pressure filter up, the UV up and the heater up, so I can get the filtration working for when they come out that net back into the tank. 128 quid for a bulb. I think it was 20 quid. Believe it or not, 22 watt UV. So I'm going to put this in and try this. It might take you quite a while to clear the water, but anything's better than nothing. Like I said, I've gone over the top with Mason's tank. He deserves it, so I ain't bothered, but unfortunately it means mine's had to change that colour. So I'm just going to drop this UV inside my filter now, where my amalgam light was. Well, not a UV, it's an amalgam light anyway. So I'm going to put this amalgam light in the filter where I have my other one, where I'd have to have, till I've got the money for a bulb. Not a bad little UV for the money really. You say you can have it on for 3 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours or 24 hours. Obviously I've left it on 24 hours. The only thing is it floats. There is suckers with it to stop it floating, but I've just left it, I've hooked it underneath the overflow pipe there to keep it underwater. It don't look very powerful from here, does it? You can hardly see it's on, but there's one in there. Give it at least a week, see what happens. Hopefully I'll win the lottery and I'll buy myself a new bulb. Oh, what's the chances? So as you know, I've had a 1 kilowatt heater off Rich Shrewsbury Coy, the budgie smuggler, the Earl of Shrewsbury. Love the bloke, he's brilliant. So I've had the heater off Rich, and apparently it's awkward to judge the heat accurate on them, so Pete and Dave sent me a link to this. So what I've got to do is try and rig this up, and you can adjust the heater control a lot better. Pete had one on his own, and I think Dave had one on his own as well, or still has. So I've been and bought that box, And I get my trusty little Dremel out, cut an hole in that box, and hopefully that'll slot inside there. So I'll mark that up, cut it out and get back to you. As you can see, just use a little cutting disc on a Parkside Dremel, whatever you want to call it, tool, cracking a little bit of kit. So I've just cut all that out now. There's 2 orange brackets there to hold it, to lock it in. So that fits in there lovely, just to keep the water off it really, condensation. So I'm hoping now I've made it a little bit bigger, because these clips have got to go on to lock it in, just to hope it'll fit. Right, then the first thing I've noticed is where I've marked that out, never looked on the inside of the box. You've got a bit of a lip there, and hardly any there. Look, it's on the post. Obviously when I marked it out, the lid was on, and I run it from there. Well, if you can imagine it that way, I put the masking tape and marked it there in the middle of the box as close to. And looking at that, it looks quite central. But now I've cut it, might just hold it in. That's if these clips give in. So I'm just going to get these clips on now and see if I can clip it in. I don't want to force it in, because if I can't get it out, I've got to wire it all up. And once that's inside the box, look, you've got a lot of room. And that's where the cables have got to go in, whether you can catch that. That's where the cables have got to go in there somehow. Well, looking at that, looks like it clips out, like a little door, or clips off. Oops, so I've got to fit that into there like that. Whoops, there we go. Hopefully that box is big enough now. I've got it and done all that. I've added a few lights on Mason's tank. Here you see them, because he's in bed. So I'll flick around and you can have a look, see what you think. So all looking rather nice. Boss, yeah, you will be impressed when I show him tomorrow. Well, I've had another change of plan. For the moment, the daughter's moved in, or moving in a new house. Loads of work got to be done in the house. 2 days to leave the old house and move into the new. So my van's full of stuff. Everything else was coming old. The heater's still there. Total change of plan there. We left it too late. We was going to put the fry in the net, so we can get the filter system all up and running. Talking to Dave, and he said just leave them as they are now, leave them in the tank. That's all he had. He had 2 sponge, I'm showing that for. He had 2 sponge filters in a big swimming pool, and he had like 20,000 fry. He sent me a video the other day. So for now, because I can't keep on top of nothing. Flick it down and have a look at that. A little snail on the bleeding pipe. A little snail, they get anywhere, don't they? So the plan's now to leave the fry as they are in the hole of the wheelie bin. Just uploaded another video. I'd started the video making this tube for Mason's lid, and I never got to show you when I'd finished it. That little feeder I got is nothing but a pain. Sorry about the camera work. As soon as you touch it, it just empties food. I'm just trying to put it back now without it dropping even more in. They ain't growled much because they ain't getting much food. But that feeder's so temperamental, you've only got to touch it, and obviously I've got to keep sliding it out. Sliding it out there every time I lift the lid up. Back to the tube. I never got to varnish it. But the idea is to lift it and lock it into there, and then you swing it back and rest it into there. It's that piece of wood soak of it, and I don't know how long that'll last, but it's just to try and keep some of the heating while the weather's been hotter or warmer. I've opened the lid up, but I ain't getting no growth at all. But like I say, I have been able to feed properly. I have got that feeder up and running now. The heater's on. I've got to be honest with you, it ain't the best. That was reading 25 yesterday, 26.3 now, so I don't know what on earth's giving on. The weather's, yesterday was absolutely glorious, red hot. We've got thunderstorms today. So I just thought I'd give a little bit of an update at the end of this video on Mason's tank. So I'll put that back down there without breaking everything. Oops. Clips into there. Oh, my feeder's in the way again. Look. You'll probably see now while I'm putting this back here, as soon as you touch it and try and move it, it just dumps a load of food. And the base it sits on there's a round mechanism inside and a square flat plate that slides into that bottom base. That has to be on the skew with, because if you have the square on either way, the feeder just keeps dropping off. It should have actually locked on while it's square. So you can see it's probably on the skew with a little bit. That's how it locks in and not falls over. Not the I mean, it's a shame really, because it's a bad little bit of kit. It's a bad little bit of kit really. There you go, it's all set up now anyway. Yeah, so change of plan. The filter today being set up or nothing. It's going to have to be at a later date. The heater and everything else. The net my missus bought, it ain't going to be happy. I think it was about 45 bleeding quid. I've got to go and buy a pump. I had one off Dave. There was a fault with it. There's the electrical connector on it. He said it might just need that cleaning up, so I've took that apart, cleaned all that up, powered it up, and the control box was popping and crackling, and I just turned it off. I thought it ain't worth it. So I've got to try and find 120 quid for a pump. That's just for Masons. My retro bottom drain in my main pond that I had off Tony Barker, I've got no chance of setting that up again. I need another pump, because I want to try and put that pump externally, but that'll be hopefully below the water line, so I got the same problem as the Nexus. So when I get round to doing that, I'll show you that. And I know whether you've just seen them when I flick the camera around. I just got him another few little items. And the trouble is the wind keeps blowing everything over. I put that sheet, as you know, old gazebo sheet, and as it's blowing like that, it's hitting things and knocking it over. So I'll be glad to get all this boxed in. That's got to be done before the winter. Again, average, late coming mate, but worth the wait. Thank you all for watching. Please share our videos, subscribe if you don't mind, and as always folks, don't forget to polish our thumb. You know you want to. Until next time.